Welcome back, everybody. We are here with JP in our September Facebook graded Star Wars CCG group update. So not too much to go through, but we did want to cover the previous contests from last month. We wanted to cover some of the really awesome things that happened in the past month, including the Reflections 2 booster rip. I know JP wanted to highlight on that. We're going to hear about some updates in the group itself, the size, as well as some other things going on in the group. So we'll chat anything organically that comes up, and then we'd love to hear from you in the comments and section of what you'd like to hear in the next upcoming chat. So JP, welcome back.
Thanks a lot, Kyle. Thanks for having me. It's been actually a really exciting month, especially after that big rip for Cam, but which we'll get into here in a little bit.
So yeah, it has been an interesting month. I will say, we're coming here to the end of summer, right? I mean, let's be honest, August is a vacation month. Back to school is on mind, right? People are probably not deep diving into their cards as much. To be honest, for me, it's been somewhat of an afterthought. I've been spending a lot more time outside. But as things buckle back down and vacations are reeled in, now we're stuck with our cards here again. We're thinking about, what's the next special that's going to be coming up for submissions. And I have some upcoming news with that for grading for HGA, but we're looking at when the next card conventions are coming up. That's all stuff that's great for fall and winter as we, get stuck with our collections in the cold weather again. I mean, am I wrong on that? Or
yeah, no. And you bring up another point I wasn't even thinking about. Is there were a couple of big competitions? Wasn't there like a Worlds or some kind of a Star Wars CCG competition where a lot of people came from all over? I have to go back
Morristown, New Jersey. They did have Star Wars CCG Worlds. That's actually the town I was born in, interestingly enough.
Wow.
I did not. I was not in attendance for that. But it's cool that stuff's still going on. Did you attend that or?
No, I was wanting to watch because somebody was streaming it too, and I wanted to watch a little bit and see how it all ended. But again, I mean, I played for years and years and years, and still have all my my T-shirts and my certificates and all the prizes are part of my collection of the stuff that I won. I was just huge into competition, as everybody was, and it's still amazing. It's still going on, and they're having people come from all over to go to these. So it's not a dead game. It's part of the dead games group, but man, people are still playing it like it's brand new, and good for the players committee to keep it alive.
Yeah, and on a side note, the Star Wars CCG Dream Cards group, I don't know if anybody follows that, but that is an offshoot, non-official Star Wars CCG group, which also hosts its own tournaments, is still live and going, and we're seeing new cards come out all the time. In fact, just with the Ahsoka show, we're already seeing Ahsoka cards pop up. Really cool. I love reading those. I love seeing them. It feels like the game is just continuing between that and the official cards that come out, the virtual sets. Like the game just keeps going on. I love reading the lore and seeing the cards. Like, it just feels relevant again. So even if I'm personally not a crazy player, it doesn't mean I'm not interested in the cards.
Right.
So I'm glad that's still going. But yeah, so last month we had a contest, believe it or not.
Yes.
Doesn't probably our least engaged contest, and maybe that was from the category itself. I realized weapons are probably not in the top tier of cards that would be submitted. Next to like effects and interrupts are probably like maybe behind that. But so we had 4 submissions maybe. So we had Michael Lockwood for a top submission, and I guess he won because he's the only one in there. But some nice Japanese 9.5s of Obi-Wan lightsaber and Vader's lightsaber from Premiere. So congrats, Michael Lockwood. And JP and I both submitted for unique, so we're going to go ahead and congratulate ourselves on our 2 uniques there.
Good job.
And we'll give Matthew Muccielli second place on top tier there with the Dengar's rifle and IG-88's neural inhibitor, PSA 10 and PSA 9 respectively. So Thank you for those who participated. I am hoping that September, now that that's running, episode 1 theme, hopefully we get a lot more participation out. Already we're seeing some people engage with that. That's a wide range of cards. So I know there's plenty of graded episode 1 cards out there. I want to see them. Let's make September super competitive again. I'd love to see a low ball category in there too. I know people got bad grades back. I know they've submitted some bad ones. Now's the time to take that category.
That's right. I too was a little surprised. In fact, we had like an entry or two at the last minute on the last day, and I was kind of scratching my head, wondering maybe it's the category for me. It gives me a lot of information about the members in the group. I know there's a lot of people that flip, and a lot of people are just working on the mains and just getting their feet wet. But the people that I see that can go this deep into their collection, I know there's some big time collectors that get a lot of stuff done. You guys know I collect everything. I'll send everything I've got off for grading. So I put in a seeker. I did have timer mines. I've got everything. It's just ridiculous, the stupid stuff I've sent graded. But my goal is to get every set graded. And I know that's not everybody's goal. So Kyle and I, we're going to work together on future ones. We're going to try to get collaboration from the group and try to have a little bit more fun categories.
Yeah, so we have September episode 1 theme, October Imperial Spaceships, November Cloud City theme, and December Hoth theme. So these are very broad categories. So I definitely know people have Imperial Spaceships graded, as well as plenty of Cloud City and Hoth. So we might have to jump into categories like Special Edition. In the future, I know Cam said there's very few special edition cards graded. Maybe we can incentivize people to grade more of those. I'd love to see some Dagobah theme stuff. I'd love to see like female category, like just any card that has females in it. Just some funky categories. Maybe all Japanese cards could be foil, non-foil, whatever. Or error card. I don't know. The sky's the limit with that. I'd be happy to put that to a vote when we cross that bridge. But just so we know what's up and coming, be sure to send in your cards to grade so you can participate in those.
Yep.
So let's get a group update. Tell me about the growth of the group and what activity or questions you've been seeing from members.
Yeah. So, usually I get a few people that are new that reach out to me and they have interesting questions. And I've had a couple people that were reaching out that were new, where to start, how to, prepare cards to go to grading and who to send to. It's kind of sometimes the usual stuff. And I think there's a disclaimer that when you first sign on is to not ask the group, hey, where do I get started? We put that in there because it seems like everybody that joins is like, how do I get started? So I worked with 2 or 3 people. Somebody's got a substantial collection that they're switching over, transitioning from playing all the time to just want to get everything graded. And so I refer them back to all of our early videos and some of the early stuff from the beginning. But I keep talking about doing a reboot of the group and start from the beginning again and just seeing what everybody's doing, because I felt like there was like 3 or 4 of us that actually had a good process of taking care of the cards and how to submit. And now I'm talking, there's at least 600 people in our group that are professionals at it. And they can give me pointers on how to inspect and what to look for. And I'm really using you guys in our group to kind of flatten out how they're grading foils, because I'm too scared to send in as many foils as you guys are doing. And you'll notice all of these. I mean, Kyle just did one today. He streamed a video, and then there were a couple other people that it's like, man, these foils are just getting hammered by the grading techs. I don't know where to begin or how to inspect that stuff. So there's that going on. So if you feel like you want to be somebody that wants to assist in videos of how to do inspections or what your experiences are with foils, please submit them in there, and then we'll start kind of corralling it so that we create some kind of like a job aid or some kind of a set of instructions on where to begin on that. But the biggest thing I wanted to bring up is that just this month alone, this past month, we jumped from 600 to about 635 people, which is the largest single month membership jump that we've had. And I know there's been a couple of opportunities in some of the other CCG groups where people were saying, "Hey, I'm a wife of this guy, and he wants me to sell some stuff," and the stuff that they're showing, people in those groups are saying you should probably get those graded first before you start selling them off. They'll bring more money, and it gives me an opportunity to go in there and say, "Hey, come join the sister group of Star Wars Graded and see what all the opportunities are." So we've had a lot more opportunities to reach out to people that don't know anything about our group to join and take a look. And that, I think that's what's been going on. It's just been growing a lot faster than ever before. So thank you guys.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And I would say for those who are jumping on and you're just finding this video, get yourself a magnifying glass with light. And this little tool at the bottom actually measures the card. I don't know if you can see it that well, but when you're looking at it on the magnifying glass, it's really easy to measure of how many millimeters off it is on each side, because PSA will grade a perfect, right? It has to be like 45, 55, I think, to be a 10, or like 40, 60. So you can kind of do the math as you see the millimeter. Now, really, that's hardcore, but the light on these magnifying glasses is going to pick up stuff you will not see with the naked eye. You could look at a card, it could be perfect, and then you stick your head up to this, and then you're like, oh my goodness, there's like a massive scratch like all over this foil, So I would definitely invest in that. I think I spent $8 on that online. So it's annoying, it's time consuming, but if you want to really do it right, that's kind of how you got to do it. So I recognize like sometimes things like the reflections foils, from what I've seen, the supply is just not there. So when a lot of these reflections foils are secondhand, they've been handled, they've been stored for a long time. So I think that's why these reflections boxes are going for almost $1,400 plus, even though we know what's in them. It's hard pressed to believe that the value is in those cards, is because the reflections foils are better than the Wild Things game sheets that they cut themselves. Those are always off center. Like none of them are centered, but the ones that came out of the box are generally much better shape. So if you want those 9s and 10s, it's more likely that it came from a pack and a box than it did from Wild Things Games, complete set of very rare foils or what have you, from what I've seen, right? And I've seen a lot of these foils. I've sold them, I've gained them, I've ripped them, right? But that's what I've seen in my experience. And unfortunately, it's very expensive for a lot of people to buy new reflections boxes, rip them just to find, the foils they're looking for. So I think that will be a very difficult category, not to participate in, but to have a 9-10 group in. Same with Reflections 2 and 3, although the quality was a little bit better as they progressed on. So 2 and 3 foils are generally better centered and in better shape than the Reflections 1 foils. So I don't know what your thoughts are on Reflections 1 foils particular, but I think that is going to be a very difficult category to master in. Like that could be one of the most difficult sets to do. 9-10 at least.
It's good because we're actually focusing now. In the beginning, we used to say Star Wars CCG cards in general have problems, but we're starting to really recognize different sets. Cloud City's pretty clean. Jabba's Palace was mass produced. Those were pretty clean. But when you start getting into the reflection boxes, they all have their own specific issues or pluses, from Reflection 1 to Reflections 3. Excuse me. So, so again, don't get discouraged. We're still trying to figure out how the grading techs are grading our stuff. And as we collaborate more and we're supporting each other in the group, we're trying to figure out who's being successful by those grades that are coming back. Heck, 8s are good. 9s to me are almost PSA 10s. And then if you get
Reflections foil 8s, I believe are
so the
out of the pack.
I just saw the update. I think Luke has taken over the updates that Cam used to do for pricing.
Yeah, it has.
And so I've seen like the prices are really starting to creep up. for nines and tens in particular. So if you're going to be able to get your hands on some higher end, the reflection boxes that are hard to grade and they come back tens, I don't even know where to say that's going to land, because people are like, well, how much would this go for? Well, if you've got the only one pop one and it's a difficult set, it's going to be astronomical. So
yeah, no, it's going to be very difficult. So let's chat a little bit about, you mentioned you wanted to speak about your reaction to the live Reflections 2 box ribbon that Cam did in honor of Matt, Board Matt. Congrats, hitting over 1,000 subs. I mean, he put in a lot of work. He's been all over the map. So congrats to him. But man, what a crazy opening. Initial thoughts.
Yeah, my initial thoughts is he's going to get screwed. I've been there, and I didn't even know I was getting screwed, because in the beginning, I actually got my hands on 33 boxes, and I ripped through it not knowing it was really a game, and I should have just left half of those closed. I was wanting to put sets together because I was a collector first, didn't know it was a game. So I'm ripping through it because I know, you're only getting so many rares, and the R1s were hard to get for Premier. In fact, I didn't even get Reflections, and that was the last chase card for me. And I opened up 33 boxes, and I didn't even get it after the 33rd box. I had to wait until I could buy it from somebody. So just knowing what my experience was, I'm thinking, he's opening up a very expensive box of cards, and there's going to be nothing in there but just junk. And I mean, right from the get-go, he actually had okay pulls, and I thought, well, the box is turning out to at least be average. And then, if I'm not going to ruin anything, you guys have to go out there. If you haven't seen that yet, you have to see how this box ends up. It's an exciting pull. He does good reveals. All the chat. I mean, Kyle was part of the panel, so if you can listen to the live feedback, that there was something. Was there 47 people on right from the get-go, from the opening bell? Everybody was chatting, and there was just like an enormous amount of excitement around it. So I thought it was going to be bad, and it turned out to be one of the best videos I've ever seen.
So just like kind of a quick stat guide. So PSA has, in the Reflections 2, they have 1,033 total cards graded, and 43 of them 10s, 317 are 9s, 363 are 8s, 183 7s, and then it goes down from there. But the bulk of those are coming back 8. So getting 10s in that category will be tricky, especially when it comes to getting the ultra rares. So that'll be a very interesting set. I personally was considering going after Reflections 2 from a registry standpoint. Although that might have to be like a lifetime achievement thing, because that can be really difficult. So I literally waffle back on this every single day. I'm like, do I want to go deep on this set or not? But yeah.
Well, and you collect everything, Kyle. I mean, I watch you rip everything from tops and everything you get your hands on. So you're kind of like the internet's litmus paper on how cool all the other Star Wars sets are. So I appreciate you sacrificing your finances and your time for looking at everything Star Wars. And me, I'm strictly, I mean, I do have a substantial collection of sports cards, and I still dabble in that. But it's not as exciting as the Star Wars CCG, and that's the only gaming I mess with now. I just recently, over the past couple of years, started just putting Magic sets together, and I started back in like where it was Zendikar. But I'm starting to think I want to start getting a lot of those graded. And so I'm so far behind on sets now because I've been focusing on Star Wars that I'm about to give up Magic, just collecting what I collect. But I don't know how you keep up with it. You're in everything, and that I wouldn't be able to.
I'm trying not to be in everything. I do have to kind of pass on some sets, but today I did trade for. Total side note: I traded for some new Star Wars like Chinese cards that are amazing. really high quality cards. I'm gonna grade some in custom HGA because they just look so cool. But that's a whole nother story. Yeah, I mean, I've been putting aside a whole bunch of boosters. Reflections 2, Jabba's Palace, Cloud City, Special Edition, Reflections 2. I've been hoarding massive piles of these because I think I want to do a big stream of a pack to grade kind of like super event. I haven't like thought of what that event will be. I'm not near 1,000 subscribers, so I can't celebrate that yet. But yeah, I am putting stuff aside because I think I do want to make an event of it. Really, what it comes down to is grading 1,000 cards is putting a down payment on a house. So
oh yeah,
it's kind of an endeavor there. You kind of got to pick and choose what you're doing, but I would love to know if anybody is considering collecting Japanese Premier graded cards, because I have so many high quality Japanese Premier cards and I am going to grade a bunch of them, but I am not sure if I will collect the set on them. But if you are interested in that, I am putting aside a lot of grade worthy Japanese Premier cards. I am deliberately putting them aside. If I wanted to grade the entire box, I could. I don't think I will, but if somebody is interested in those or looking for certain Japanese Premier cards to be graded that are common, uncommon, or maybe rare too. I have a few rare ones, extras, but not many. But definitely hit me up. Let me know, because between myself, I don't know anybody else who has as many of those fresh, ready to go. And I still have another like 40 unopened Japanese Premier booster packs. I'm not sure if I'll rip those or not. I think it depends on the interest. If anybody would like to do that, it's a big set, so it's intimidating. But yeah, let me know if you're out there and that interests you at all. If there's no interest in it, then I might not grade the commons. But if there is interest in it, then I may consider grading some commons just to see what's what.
Awesome.
Anyways, that's all I got for this. Were there any other final concluding thoughts or anything you're looking for?
No, it's been it's been a positive month. We've got nothing really, anything big to address. I was a little just kind of wondering about how the weapons, competition was going to go, and I just think as people are going to start grading more, you're going to start grading more weapons as a member, but people are still, I can kind of see it's like 80-20 flippers versus collectors. And the next 2 or 3 months are going to be chock loaded full of competitive worthy cards. So I'm really excited about what we got coming up this month and next month.
Yes. And also another side note, if I have not spoken with you and you are new to the group or you collect cards, I want to hear from you on my Star Wars Collector series. I literally just ask you what you collect, and then I ask you about your opinions on different Star Wars things. So there's nothing to prepare, but I want to hear your story, how you got into it, why you collect them, what your niche is, and your story and all that with Star Wars. So hit me up on that too, because I'm always looking for great chats with great people, and I have a few good ones coming up. So please reach out to me. Let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to wrap it up right there, and we'll chat up next month.
All right. Thank you, Kyle.